with pain, your spirit soars and sings. Though sorrow clouds your day, it's sunny skies tomorrow brings. And come, take my hand, let's be friends forever. And come, take my hand, alone no more, not ever. Imagine dreams are real, and soon you'll start to feel there's magic all around. And take my hand, love is all around.
Well, lunch is over. I better get back to work, I suppose.
Matthew, you've been slacking off lately. I've noticed, you know.
Hey, don't you know everyone needs a little break occasionally, sister dear?
Bye, Matthew. We'll see you later. Please may I go out and play when I finish the dishes, Marilla?
Of course, Anne. Like Matthew, you've earned a little break. But take care with those dishes now, won't you?
Don't worry, Marilla.
Oh,
In the year 1870, a little orphan girl called Anne Shirley found a home at Green Gables, the farm of Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert on Prince Edward Island, which is part of Canada. Marilla Cuthbert found that a little girl took some getting used to. Originally, she'd wanted to offer a home to a boy who could have helped her brother Matthew with the farm work.
that must have been awful for you, Rachel.
You can say that again. I can't remember having a worse time of it. That was a really nasty flu. I was extremely ill. Every time I managed to stand up, I got dizzy. But do tell me all the news of Green Gables, Marilla. I've heard the most incredible stories about this orphan that you and Matthew have taken in.
I can well believe it was a surprise to you, Rachel. It was to me. I'm still trying to get over the shock.
Yes, it must have been a real upset, but couldn't you have sent her back to the orphanage?
Yes, we could have done that, but we decided to keep her instead.
Oh,
It didn't take Matthew very long to become fond of the child.
I don't believe it.
Why ever not? I have to admit I'm very fond of her myself. Of course, she has a few faults that I have to put up with. But since Anne came to Green Gables, everything seems to have changed for the better. She really is an amazing little thing.
But Marilla, are you fully aware of the sheer responsibility that you've taken on? Bringing up a girl is woman's work. Till now, you've had nothing to do with children. You've got no experience whatsoever. Please don't think that I'm deliberately trying to discourage you, but you've taken on a very difficult task. Marilla, I hope and pray that you succeed.
You'll never dissuade me, Rachel. When I settle on a course of action, I pursue it to its logical conclusion.
Yes, I know. You've always been extraordinarily stubborn.
Now, Rachel, how would you like to meet the child?
Oh, is she here?
Anne? Anne, please come inside.
Coming! Can I do something for...
Good heavens! They're certainly not keeping you for your beauty. She's as skinny as a pencil and terribly plain, isn't she? Come here, child. I want to look you over. Have you ever seen such freckles? And carroty red hair, priceless.
You're rude. I can't stand you. I hate you. I hate you. Oh, I do hate you so much. What gives you the right to say I'm as skinny as a pencil and terribly plain? And who gave you the right to make fun of my red hair? I've never met such a tactless, unfeeling person in my whole life.
Anne!
How dare you make fun of me for having a few freckles? How would you feel if I were to say horrible things about you? How would you like it if someone came up to you and said to your face that you were fat and ugly and had no finer feelings at all? I don't care a bit if I hurt your feelings, because you know what? I'm doing it on purpose. You've hurt my feelings badly, but you couldn't care less, could you? You're completely heartless. I've never been so insulted in all my born days. Not even by Mr. Thomas, and he was drunk all the time. I'll never forgive you.
Well, I don't know what to make of this extraordinary outburst.
Anne, go up to your room this minute, and you can stay there till I tell you to come down again.
Marilla, I certainly don't envy you bringing up that wild creature.
Oh, really? Her behaviour wasn't exactly unprovoked, Rachel. You had something to do with it.
I hope you're not trying to say that the child had any right to throw herself about like that and scream at me so rudely.
No. Naturally, I shall discipline her later on. She behaved very badly. But on the other hand, we should try to understand her background. Up to now, she's had no real upbringing to speak of. And you actually hurt her badly with those things you said, Rachel.
I'm eternally grateful to you. Just fancy that, Marilla, at my age. I had no idea that I needed lessons in handling the easily bruised feelings of an orphan who's got a chip on her shoulder. Oh, Marilla, I don't hold it against you. I'm far too worried about you for that. I can tell you've been too kind-hearted to this little hooligan. I've brought up 10 children and buried another 2. If anyone knows about child rearing, it's me, so let me give you a piece of excellent advice, Marilla. Wild children like her need a good hiding from time to time. You'll never teach that girl to behave properly by talking nicely to her. Goodbye, Marilla. And by the way, I do hope you'll come to see me from time to time, because I have to tell you this honestly. I shall never darken this door of yours again, Marilla. You may depend on that. After all these years, you've lost your best friend, and it's all because of an orphan child with no manners. Huh. Oh, oh, oh.
Anne? Anne? Get up off the bed, please, and look at me when I'm talking to you. That was quite a dramatic performance, wasn't it? Aren't you ashamed of yourself, girl?
But you had no right to talk to me like that. How can I help it if I was born with red hair?
I understand, but Anne, you had no right whatsoever to behave so impossibly and to be so rude to a guest in our house. Oh, yes, I'm extremely disappointed in you, Anne. I'm deeply disappointed and upset because I find your behaviour completely unacceptable. There's no reason for you to lose control of yourself like that.
Oh, yes, there is, when somebody thinks that they can treat an orphan child like dirt. I know that I've got red hair. I know very well that I'm ugly and skinny, and I know that I've got freckles. I can see that for myself. I'm not blind, you know. I know what I'm like perfectly well, and I'm used to it. But it's different when a stranger says it out loud right to my face. I tried to control myself, but I couldn't.
In any case, you made an unforgettable first impression. What do you imagine Mrs. Rachel Lindy will say about you now everywhere she goes?
But... How do you think you'd like it if somebody told you to your face that you were ugly and skinny? It's horrible.
It's a great pity that Marilla is such a plain, skinny creature. Oh, careful, she'll hear you. She's so terribly pale. That thin hair of hers.
And let me make one thing perfectly clear. I never said that I actually approved of the way Mrs. Lindy treated you. But that is no excuse for the ill-mannered way you screamed at her. Rachel Lindy was a guest in this house. Now listen here.
Yes?
I would like you to go to Mrs. Lindy and apologize for your behaviour. Go to her place and see her and say you're sorry you were rude.
Over my dead body? No! Anything but that. I'll take any other punishment you can think of. Please, I would rather be locked up in a cellar full of squirmy, slimy snakes with only bread to eat and water to drink. But I can't. I simply can't go and apologise to Mrs. Lindy.
We don't have a dark cellar full of snakes, I'm afraid. So the best thing you could do would be to stay in your own room and not come out until you've changed your mind.
Well, that means that I'll just have to stay in my bedroom for the rest of my life. I simply cannot go over there and tell that old witch that I'm feeling sorry for what I did, because I'm not sorry one bit. I can't lie. I'm very sorry about this. Please forgive me, Marilla. I'd like to please you, but I just can't do what you're asking. I'm not sorry about what I said. That's that. When I think about it, I'm so glad I opened my mouth and shouted at Mrs. Lindy, and I'm still enjoying the feeling.
Then I can't help you, I'm afraid. Maybe you'll be able to change your mind after you've considered the matter. You've got the whole night to think about it. You once told me that you'd make a really big effort to become a well-brought-up girl. But the big effort wasn't very long-lived, was it?
sorry to say this, Marilla, but I reckon Anne's in the right. In fact, the old trout got what was coming to her. She deserved it.
Don't talk about my friend like that. You know very well that Anne behaved badly, so don't you dare take her side, Matthew. I suppose now you're going to try and say that she shouldn't be punished at all, am I right?
No, I'd never say that. If you want my opinion, here it is for what it's worth. I think she should be punished lightly, maybe only half measures.
Yes, I thought so. But as long as I have anything to do with it, she'll stay upstairs until she's ready to apologize.
Why must all you women be so stubborn, I don't know.
What was that you said, Matthew?
Oh, no, nothing, not important.
I don't know how long you want to stay up here, Anne, so I thought I'd bring you something to eat. You didn't touch the lunch I brought you earlier.
I just can't swallow anything.
I can't understand you at all, Anne. When someone tells you that you're as thin as a pencil, you get terribly upset, but you still refuse to eat.
That doesn't matter at all. Eating or not eating isn't important to a person who's decided to spend the rest of her life, which I hope won't be very long, in a room.
Oh, Anne. Maybe what Rachel said about a good hiding was not far off the mark, but I couldn't bring myself to do a thing like that. Oh well, I'll worry about milking the cows first.
Anne, I just wondered how you were getting on.
Oh, that's sweet of you, Matthew. I'm muddling through. I imagine all sorts of things in my head. That helps to make the time pass quicker. It's quite boring, actually, but I must get used to it, you see. I'm going to be here for a long time.
And don't you think it might be far better just to do what's expected of you tomorrow morning? Get the whole thing over and done with. Marilla can be extremely stubborn.
Do you mean I should apologize?
Yes, make an apology. That's exactly what I mean. Listen, my child. Sort it out. You can do that.
Yes, I suppose you're quite right. I could do it now, maybe. I'm beginning to feel sorry for what I did, and I wasn't before. Last night I was quite pleased with myself, and I was so angry. I know it's very ugly to be angry, but I was enjoying it. Maybe it's not such a nice thing to feel. Do you know, Matthew, I woke up 3 times, and I was still angry, but this morning all the anger had somehow flown far away. I don't know why, but the awful angry feelings were over. I wasn't angry anymore, I was just feeling sad. But I still can't imagine going to Mrs. Lindy to apologize. Even the thought of doing it makes me feel sick. Somehow it seems so undignified. Sometimes we have to choose one way or the other. And I've made my choice. I will never bow down to anyone, ever, if I feel that it is not the right thing to do. But all the same, if you would like me to do it, then I will apologize. So, would you like me to go over and talk to the old witch?
Of course I would like that. And do it as quickly as possible, too. You know, it's lonely down there without you, and I do miss you so.
Oh, very well, then. I shall tell Marilla that I'm going to surrender.
That's good. That's very good. Oh, please do me a favor. Don't let on to Marilla I came to see you.
Don't worry, Matthew. I can keep a secret.
Goodness, why are you home so early in the day, Matthew?
What, Marilla? Huh? Oh, yes, I'm here. I've just come in this very minute. Oh, dear me, I forgot. I've got to put the horse into the stable.
Yes, there's still plenty of time for that.
Marilla,
Yes? What is it?
I'm sorry from the bottom of my heart that I lost control of myself. Please may I say the same thing to Mrs. Lindy?
Yes, Anne. We'll go over there right away, so go and brush your hair.
Good girl.
You're very quiet, a penny for your thoughts.
Oh, I was just thinking of the right and fitting words to use when I make my apology to Mrs. Lindy.
Somehow I get the feeling that your attitude is not entirely apologetic, Anne.
Oh,
Oh, Mrs. Rachel Lindy! I feel unbelievably sad and upset. I just can't find the right words to express how badly I feel about what I've done. Even if I took out the big, thick dictionary, I'd never find enough words to say what I feel. In fact, when I think of how I behaved towards you, I feel utterly, how shall I say, disconsolate. And when I think about how badly I've saddened and disappointed Marilla and Matthew Cuthbert, who were kind enough to let me stay at Green Gables, even though I wasn't a boy, I can only say, oh, what an ungrateful child I am. Oh, please, Mrs. Lindy, I know that I deserve a severe punishment. I should be locked up in my bedroom forever. What I cannot understand is how I could have lost my temper like that. It's awful. I'm normally a very good-natured and well-behaved girl. Really, I am. All you did was to tell the truth, Mrs. Lindy. Every single word you spoke was well chosen and absolutely true. And what I said was quite true as well. But I should have kept it to myself. Oh, please, Mrs. Lindy, please forgive me. For if you don't want to forgive me, then I shall hold it against myself for the rest of my life. Oh, Mrs. Lindy, I hope you will forgive me and stop a little orphan girl from reproaching herself for the rest of her life. After all, I only behaved badly that one time. Oh, surely you could never be that hard-hearted, Mrs. Lindy. Oh, please tell me that you're prepared to forgive me. I'm sorry I did it. I'm heartbroken, really I am. I'm begging you to forgive me.
it's quite all right, child. Of course I forgive you, Anne. I should have held my tongue too, you know. I started the whole thing with my remarks. I just had to mention the colour of your hair because it reminded me of a girl I once knew. Now, this young lady had hair that was exactly your colour, but only when she was little. As the years went by, it changed into a beautiful shade of chestnut brown. Maybe that'll happen to you.
Oh, Mrs. Lindy, if you only know what a wonderful present you've just given me by telling me that. I would happily endure any insult in the world if I could only hope to have chestnut hair one day. How lovely that would be. It must be much easier to be a well-behaved young lady when your hair is a chestnut brown instead of a carroty red. Oh, Mrs. Lindy, I'm beginning to think that you like a good fairy to me.
Marilla, your little Anne is perhaps a shade too talkative for my taste. But I don't mind at all because she shows insight, and that's very important, wouldn't you say so, Marilla? Anyway, I understand you and Matthew so much better now, and I have no reason to feel sorry for you anymore.
Life is stranger than any fiction, full of wonders and full of blessings, big and small. We try to understand, but all in vain, for life unfolds.
My apology went down extremely well, don't you think, Marilla?
Yes, you moved her almost to tears.
That's exactly what I was trying to do. If a thing's worth doing, it's worth doing well. Tell me, Marilla, do you believe that my hair might change colour as the years go by?
I wouldn't know. What I do know, definitely, is that you think far too much about your appearance. You're vain.
Oh, Marilla, how can I be vain if I know perfectly well that I'm plain, not pretty in the slightest? It's just that I'm very fond of pretty things.
What's pretty and what's not? The word means different things to different people.
I know what you mean. I've heard somebody say that before, but I don't think it's true. It's so nice to come home, isn't it? It's lovely just thinking about it. Oh, Marilla, I just can't tell you how happy I am.
When Marilla felt Anne's little hand in hers, she had an emotion she'd never experienced before. She couldn't even put a name to the feeling. Was it an awareness of a responsibility? Or was she starting to really love the little girl? Anne was settling in so well at Green Gables that Marilla felt it was time to send her to Sunday school. Anne was keen to go. She hoped that she would meet Diana Barry there. But that story is for the next time.
Soft whispers on the breeze, the wood nymphs in the trees are calling out your name. They offer you their gift, sweet fragrance fills the air. The magic of a moonlit night, a nightingale's song to share.